today we have with us Dee Evans, and she is the founder of Juneteenth, Nevada. That's one title. I'm going to let her break down the rest of them for you. So please welcome June.
Thank you for having me. Well, let's see. Name is Deborah Evans. They call me Dee. I am the vice chair of the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation Board of Directors. I am the National Communications Director also for the organization National Juneteenth Observance Foundation. And
the one that I said, the founder.
And the founder and president of Juneteenth, Nevada, here in Las Vegas.
Okay. So what is it, first, for those of us who don't know what Juneteenth is, tell us what that is.
Okay.
And also, what is it about it that you develop, to dedicate this much of your life to it?
I made a commitment.
Tell us what Juneteenth is. For those who may not
Juneteenth recognizes June 19th, 1865, Galveston, Texas. At that point, the myth is that General Granger rode into town on a horse, went up on the balcony, read General Order Number 3 and said, "Slaves, you all are free. You've been free for 2.5 years, and we're telling you." Well, I have an education group that we have it within the National Juneteenth organization. We have now discovered, first of all, because I really wasn't the best on geography, Galveston is an island. Granger came in on a ship. Granger either did not get off the ship or he did not go through town, but he definitely did not walk up on this balcony. What happened was, you read the stories that said Granger stood up. It tells you federal soldiers came through the town. They do not tell you that the federal soldiers were 50% United States colored troops. We had 3,000 to 6,000 black soldiers in Galveston on June 19th, 1865. They went back to the ship and said, now these are stories that we've gotten from the descendants of the people in Galveston. You're going to do something to make sure these people are free before we leave, or we'll do something. They did not go to Galveston to free the slaves. They were on their way to Mexico-Texas border to fight Maximilian. Okay. They ran into a storm there was 10 ships, I believe.
Okay.
They ran into
6,000. Like, that's a whole lot of.
No, there was actually, yeah, we had I think there was 10 ships, and in the state of Texas, there were 10,000 people. We had six, but we have actually documented from official military records 6,000 soldiers of black African descent in Galveston on that date. Again, they were on their way to Mexico-Texas border. They ran into a storm. They stopped for food and water. They bivouacked for a couple of days in Galveston. They arrived on the morning of the 19th of June, and Major General Granger had Major Emory write to General Order Number 3, and they posted it on the wall of the Little Colored Church, which is now known as Reedy Chapel, and they have an anniversary. They have a program every year recognizing the freedom from that point.
So the people on this island were still slaves.
They were shipping them to Texas, which was at that point pretty much the farthest point you could get from Washington, from the East colonies. Again, looking back at it, let's start 1619 real quick. We did not come to this country in the English colonies as slaves. We were not enslaved. The first 20 Africans came to this country. They were warriors who had lost the war, had been sold off to, and they were on a ship. They were brought to this country as they were servants. But they were not enslaved. My mind just went off again. They only had indentured. They were indentured service. And they had 7 to 10 years that they had to work, and then they were free. They married, they intermarried, they raised their families. Slavery did not come to the English colonies until about 40 years later. when one man decided he did not want to let go of his indentured servant. He went to court. He got control of the man for life. And the owner of this man was a black man. A black man actually started this slavery. Went to court because he did not want to let another man go free.
I never heard that.
Well, let me see what other quick story. Abraham Lincoln, 1841, 20 years before he became president, he went to the Illinois Supreme Court. Now, you don't think of Illinois as a slave state. He went to court to get the freedom of Nance Leggins Costley. He got her freedom. At the time, she had 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. The boy was 10 months old. We found her son in the records in Galveston as one of those 6,000 U.S. colored troops soldiers in Galveston, Texas, on the day of the freedom. So she was the first. She was actually the first person enslaved, freed by Lincoln, and her son was the first male person.
This is Lincoln the lawyer.
Lincoln the lawyer, 1841, before he went to the White House. But that wasn't the end of slavery. The Indians maintained slavery for another year. They did not. They signed a treaty of the so-called 5 civilized nations in the Western Territories in June of 1866. At that time, the United States didn't want to have anything to do with them. The Indians did not want to be connected to them. They went on to found 100 black towns, mostly in the Western Territories, most of them in Oklahoma. Of the 88 Oklahoma towns, there are still 12 of them left.
Who did the Indians enslave?
They enslaved black people. People that had escaped or had been sold to them by slave owners from the east as they moved across the Trail of Tears. You know, some of them brought slaves with them or whatever. You hear about the Underground Railroad that went to Canada. Did you know there were 2 underground railroads? There was a Southern Underground Railroad that went across the South into California. Wow. And these are things I did not know 20 years ago. This is stuff that Dr. Myers taught me, or he started my education, and Steve Williams, our president, he's a brainiac. If you bring up a subject, he has a story to tell about whatever. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Oklahoma. He had a grandfather or a great-grandfather that had 8 wives and 52 grandchildren. And so he's got relatives all over. Wow is right. I didn't believe him. I had to look up his grandfather. So
you were like the pre-Google.
Pre-Google. I had to go.
Ask Dee. She'll find out for you.
And I'm still part of the research team for the education group.
Wow.
I've got my subscriptions to newspapers.com and Ancestry, and I still do research to find this, because we do not tell the story of Juneteenth without being able to back it up. And we can come up with that newspaper article or with the article from the Army that says, this is what happened.
So is there a place where this information lives now?
We're putting it, we have a Juneteenth 101 pamphlet. We have a teacher's edition. We are doing a new version for the Miss Juneteenth scholarship young ladies. And we are researching Juneteenth 201, the next evolution. 101 covers 1862 to 1867. And now we're picking up additional history, and we're looking for researchers that can help us in every state. We have a director in every state that we call upon. We do weekly meetings. So every week, if you can call in on our conference line at 12 o'clock Central, which is 10 o'clock here in Las Vegas, we have a 90-minute, 2-hour meeting, and we trade stories, and we trade ways of recognizing and commemorating Juneteenth. And Miss Opal is in Texas. Opal Lee is in Texas, and as you know, she did the walking. She's the one. She started in 2016 when she was 89 years old, I believe, walking for attention to Juneteenth. She got the petition started. We ended up with 1.6 million signatures on a Juneteenth petition that was taken to the Senate at the end of 2020. And at that time, we in June of 2020, we missed the Juneteenth legislation by one vote. It would have been unanimous. In 2021, we got the call that Steve was working in the halls of Congress. He was working with the senators and the representatives, and worked out a deal that we had the recognition from Opal's walking. I'm the one that sits on the telephone and everything comes through me. I'm the matrix.
Okay.
I'm the sitting duck. Steve and Opal are the two that move. But we got a call that said the Senate is, which normally everything goes through the House of Representatives and then goes to the Senate for approval. Steve worked so hard and got the story told so well that it went through the Senate first. They told the House of Representatives, we have passed this as a no-finding bill. We have a state legislation, and at that time it was 47 states and the District of Columbia. Everyone knows about Juneteenth. We're not going to have to worry about going through all the stages. We have a number of years left before, I think it's 5 years before we have to fill in the paperwork. But they unanimously passed it in the Senate. We got 415 votes in the House. So it was like Wednesday, the Senate, Thursday, the House, Friday, maybe it must have been Tuesday, Wednesday.
Year, right?
Yeah, this was all last year.
Yeah.
And they're saying, well, the president is overseas. When he comes back, he's going to go to Galveston and sign the Juneteenth bill. Didn't happen that way. Opal got a call at 3 in the morning that said, you got to get to Washington because he signed the bill tomorrow afternoon. So they got her on the plane in the middle of the night. She got to Washington, was able to sit at the table with the president. People who went to the post office on Friday morning to pick up Juneteenth flags and different paper things that we had shipped out found a sign on the post office door saying, closed for the holiday. That really hurt a little few things. But they had used a system that last unnamed president had established to get messages out to federal employees that says, you're off work tomorrow because there's a holiday. So, at this point in time, our goal is education. People are happy, they've got a holiday, they're going to the park, but they do not know what Juneteenth is. So at this time, we have to teach them that there was a time you could not read. Now you can read, but you won't read. Mm-hmm. Why that your ancestors were probably enslaved. Study your family, pass the word on. We're telling them about the music from Africa to America, the sounds of how the drums and the bass is the heartbeat of the music, and just move forward. So that's where I am today. This year, as last year, we'll have approximately 20 different events going on. This year, what I am adding, last year I had a Juneteenth walk, and we had a drum circle. This year we made a few changes. I'm having a unity powwow this year.
Okay.
We're going to have a powwow, and we're going to bring some Buffalo soldiers in, the 9th and 10th Cavalry. We're going to bring them together at the powwow to make peace with the Indians. We're also doing a day where the hip-hop community will be working. They will be performing, but we're going to introduce them to Woody Woods, our music director, and we're going to give them a lesson of where their music came from. Again, all those raps that came from the 1920s, and the musicians of the 20s, the Harlem Renaissance, Isaac Hayes coming forward. We're going to show them that they did not invent these things, that this is something that was embedded, that they've heard as children, and what to do with it. So it's a Unity weekend that will be at the College of Southern Nevada, on the West Charleston campus. That's June 10th and 11th. We're going to be at the West Las Vegas Library on June 5th, where we're going to be doing music from the Belly of the Slave Ship, parts 3, where we're going to be featuring female performers. We're going to be at the Henderson Water Street on the 19th, Father's Day. We're going to have a Father's Day Juneteenth program. June 19th, the first Father's Day was June 19th, 1910. So, and it's also World Sickle Cell Day. So June 19th has 3 holidays in one that will be recognized this year. And again, they will be at Water Street. The day before, we will be at Whitney Recreation Center on the 18th. We're going to have a networking. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have networking between the communities within the area, that they will hold conversations and talk to the neighbors. We're also doing 4 flag raisings. We'll have a flag flying over the city of North Las Vegas, the city of Las Vegas, the city of Henderson, and we're going to have a flag raised at the Martin Luther King statue, also in North Las Vegas.
So you just need like maybe 2 more events around this.
Actually, I got those. Actually, it appears that my website is juneteenthnevada.org. The national website is njof.org. And you can download information from the national website. You can download the Juneteenth 101. You can download the various resources you need for your Juneteenth event. You want to make a donation? It's NJOFNV1. Yeah, we've got PayPal.me /NJOFNV1. We have for the national, if they want to make a donation to the national, it's paypal.me /National Juneteenth. You can also donate to national through the Cash App, which is $ National Juneteenth. There's Miss Juneteenth. They have a donation site for that.
Well, thank you, Deborah Evans.
Thank you,
Deborah D. Evans.
Yeah.
This has been Conversations: The Journey. I'm your host, Ellis Rice, and we will be back for the next conversations. Thank you very much. Peace.
Thank you.